all this stuff in the way here. I need to tidy this area up. I can see that because I'm looking at it, but I think that you're up too high as well. We could bring you down here, but I wanted to take some of the things off of my clothes. You see, I have all these, I have to just open this. I have these little seeds, and I don't want to spread these seeds everywhere, right? I mean, that's the idea of these seeds, is that they will spread everywhere, right? Maybe I'll put you right. Yeah, it doesn't work either. Here, I'll put this box on my lap. I should figure all these things out first, but I can't figure them out when I don't know what it's going to look like. Hey, look, I found it. Whoa, that didn't work. Well, good thing I'm here and you're here and we're all here together. All right, let's pick this up again. This is very heavy. All right, I can put you right there on the box. Look at that. Whoa, now I can use this bottle to contain all these seeds, or else they're going to get everywhere again. What are they called? Clingers? Is that what they are? There's a few kinds. These are the ones that grow in front of the grass hut on Horseshoe Island, right in front of the teepee or the grass hut. It's been a teepee there for many years. Uh-oh, I dropped one. Now it'll be on my clothes. I figured one day I would sit down and pluck all these out. They're all over 2 shirts and this sock. They're also on the edge of my boots. Now this is a different kind. This is longer. They've got little tails on them. See that? These here. Hey, you know what I have ChatGPT doing for me? Every time I ask her a question, she is now enlisted to tell me something about pond life. And she seems to be focusing a lot on Daphne, or Daphnia, which is water fleas, which are very interesting little critters. I'm learning a lot about them. Would you like to know some of the things I've learned about water fleas? I know you're fascinated by this. I was in the temple the other day and I got the impression that I should study earth sciences. And I looked at all the earth science. There was a huge list of what is included in earth sciences. I mean, I thought geology, but no, there's lots and lots and lots. Anyway, and so, of course, since pond life isn't one of them, I settled on pond life. It's my divergent thinking, you know? And I asked ChatGPT if she would please write me the outline of a textbook on pond life. And so she did, and I started reading the outline. And, of course, in the very beginning, I had questions. She was, you know, like the pond is divided into near the shore, deep and real deep, and then it's divided this way. There are names for all these things, which are not really of any value to me, because who wants to know names that nobody else is going to know? I mean, it's like you've got your language, good for you. Got a big audience of one. Anyway, so I've been learning about water fleas. They have little antennae which spin. Sometimes you can see little swirls at the edge of the pond, which are made by them. They're very small. They're the size of a comma in printed writ. They eat the bacteria that is on leaves. If the leaves fall into the water, heaven forbid a leaf should fall into the pond and sink to the bottom, then the Daphnia go down, or the water fleas, they go down there and they eat them. Look at that. I think I did it. There's some, oh wait, I have to go on the inside. Somehow they got on the inside too. They keep the water clear. Otherwise the water would turn green. And so if there's an algae bloom, then the Daphne are not in right proportion. Or it may be that manure got into it, or somebody tossed some dead animal into the pond, or whatever happened. And then you get this algae bloom. I finished my sock. I have a sock I can wear. Now we will move on to this. I don't want to put it against me or else I'll get them on me. I'll hang them over the edge here. We'll start with the collar. Look, there's one on the collar. So, what else do I know about water fleas? If you get a jar of pond water any time of year, you can see these water fleas. They will, if you shine light through the water, you can see these little, they sort of have a bit of light, iridescent, and you can see their heartbeat. And I think their heartbeat and lungs are one thing. I don't remember that. But anyway, they're clear. Okay, what else do I know about them? They're usually in the shallow area, except of course when they go down to get the bacteria on the leaf mold, the leaf litter at the bottom of the pond, should it happen to be there. There is another animal which I have since, oh no, I haven't forgotten the name of it. It's got two words. It's cyclops, right? With a one eye. It's a one-eyed, one-eared. Anyway, it's a cyclops, copepod, copepod or copepod. Anyway, it's a copepod, cyclops copepod. And they also feed on the water fleas, but they work in harmony with them as well. So I think the water fleas, they're right near the bottom of the food chain. I mean, they are eaten by everything. But the reason that they're always there is because, did you know they're always there? I just slipped that in. The reason they're always there is because, oh, I don't want it on the water on the bottom. Ugh. They have what's called resting eggs. And when their lives are threatened, when the greenery is just too much for them and they're getting killed off or whatever, or when there's too many cyclops hunting them down with their one eye, then the water fleas will bury their eggs in the mud or the bottom of the pond, wherever the bottom happens to be. If it's down low or if it's up high. And then whenever if the water goes away, for instance, that's one reason that they would lay nesting eggs. Are you fascinated by this? One person is here. Good morning, good morning. Feel free to comment. Say something that I can respond to. I don't really feel like being out here all alone with God. Just us. Anyway, so when there's a dried up puddle, there are resting eggs in that puddle. And so algae is in the air. I don't know how come it's airborne. I was driving in Ottawa the other day and there was nobody on the highway except me. And yet the fog was making my windshield dirty. It was getting white spots all over it until it got too much. And that's because the salty spray from the road surface was suspended in the fog. Anyway, there is algae suspended in the air, and when it rains, the algae is picked up by the rain, and then when it's collected in a bucket or a puddle, you soon have algae growing. Isn't that fascinating? The ecosystem is properly tuned, so everything works. And then, of course, since there's going to be algae, there needs to be water fleas, which have no interest in humans at all. None. But there are sometimes you see these little tiny whirlpools in the water. I have to go and check for little tiny whirlpools now. I think I've seen them. But those are the water fleas. Interesting. Anyway, so I had ChatGPT write me a textbook, just the outline, because I find that an outline is really as good as the whole written book. If you get an outline, it should tell you everything. And if it doesn't tell you anything, then you need your outline to be a little more detailed. You know how outlines work? You know that? A, B, C, D, on and on. So you have, usually you have an outline which, well, starts with the like plant life. And then after that title on A, then you have 1, 2, maybe up to 10, listing all the different plants that you're going to talk about. And then you can get your outline more detailed by the little letters, small a, b, c, d, e, f, g. And so you can have like plant life. And then, you start with the divisions of the pond. So you've got the literal, not literal, but literal. Something is different about that word. It's spelled differently. Literel. And so that's the edge of the water where the mud is. And in the literal, then there's the emergent plants, and there's another kind. So you have an A and a B. And under the emergent plants, those are plants who are above the water and below the water. Is this fascinating? Are you fascinated yet? Do you want to go out there and have ChatGPT write an outline of a textbook for you? I decided I should be using my vast intelligence to learn something, do something with it, instead of watch stupid YouTube things that may or may not be true. So much out there that's not true anymore. I used to have one untrue source. Now everything is untrue, or could be. All this clickbait. I guess if you ask ChatGPT to write you an SEO, which has something to do with having your video shown more widely, it will give you you can have your own photo on the main thing, and then they'll have this big thing of a couple words that sort of describe what's in it, and a picture of some interesting part of the video. That's an SEO. Well, everybody's doing these SEOs now. So you see all these personal picture on top of the other picture, and who knows what they use for the clickbait. Oh my gosh. You really need the Holy Spirit to be with you, to help you, to guide you, because the Holy Spirit's purpose is to testify of truth. So if the Holy Spirit is with you, and if you're paying attention to it, you can feel when something is going to be true or not true. Of course, you also get a bit of knowledge about knowing what to look for. If the title is outrageous, like you get these things that say that there was a 9.0 earthquake somewhere. Well, I have the earthquake feed, and I haven't gotten any feeds about any huge earthquakes lately. Oh, hello. I am a cool person. Oh, thank you, CJ. You're pretty cool, too. You've been here for a long, long time. You've been commenting your way through my life since I started this 17 years ago. Maybe 17 years ago. I don't know. Oh, no, I mean, I don't know if you were there 17 years ago. I was here. I've been here 70 years, but not on YouTube. 70 years. That's such a lot of years. I've stopped saying I'm so old because everybody responds, oh, 70 is the new 50, blah, blah, blah. You have many, many. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I'm not interested in that. I think that 70 is an incredibly high number. And when you think of yourself, if you think of, say to yourself, I'm 70 now. I mean, doesn't that just freak you out? Like, what? I'm not 70. Anyway, those numbers are just random. They just go circling ever bigger and bigger and bigger. But I'm not paying attention to those numbers anymore. They just have no reflection on me, except that huge number 70 means that every year I've learned something, right? Every day I've learned something. Sometimes I don't learn enough, making the same mistakes, but developing a lot of wisdom. Wisdom is a consolation prize for messing up. You know that, right? On account of my wonderful song. You can Google it. Well, you probably won't find it in Google, but you'll find it if you do a YouTube search, Nancy Today. Wisdom is the consolation prize for messing up. These are coming off very well. Look, I'm making great progress. Some of my shirt is actually seed-free. You have to be careful about just sitting and picking them off anywhere because they're gonna grow. These things could be everywhere. We could be completely taken over by this. I don't know if it's invasive. I'm hoping they'll go away because they're right in front of my teepee and I get into them every time I go there. I was thinking of making a path from my moat road to the stream. And I do that from time to time, and I put sticks over puddles and try and do that, but it all grows back, right? So I was thinking, what if I put down some of this fabric, this nylon fabric, and then put gravel on it and make a narrow little gravel pathway that won't be overcome? What do you think on that subject? I think gravel is pretty heavy. I put a lot of gravel on the moat this year. I don't think it was very good for my car. I decided I could take 800 pounds. My Mazda will pull 1,500 pounds. So I decided if I put 800 pounds, which is 400 kilograms or so, I could tell the guy I want 400 kilograms. And he knows how much that is, and he's got this great big huge front end bucket loader. Huge. Probably carries a few yards of gravel at once. Yard, that would be 3 feet by 3 feet cubic yard. Anyway, I meant 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. That's right, that would be about a cubic meter. Or a yard. Yards and meters are pretty close. I think a metric is just a little bit bigger. I used to buy fabric years ago, and they would sell it by the yard. And you could see on the measuring tape that a meter was about 6 inches longer. Something like that. When I came to Canada, I came in 77, 76. What is that now? So let's say I came in 75, then I only have to count by tens. 85, 95, 105, 115, 125. 50 years. Wow. That's a long time. I only lived in the United States till I was about 21. I've been here 50 years. 49, I guess. Anyway, where will we be going with that? Topics we have covered: water fleas, having ChatGPT write you your own textbook. And see, when I'm reading her textbook for me, her outline, not a textbook, just the outline, because I don't want the whole thing, all the ifs, ands, these, and wherevers. I don't need all those full sentences. I just need the name, the number. And so, the emergent plants were one of the first things. And I asked her to write me an outline of a chapter on that, which was all part of, she had many things in her chapter 1. And so that became, my new chapter in there. And then she started talking about cattails and bulrushes, which are different plants. Some people think they're the same, but they're not. Cattails grow near the shore. Bulrushes grow right in the water. And depending how deep the water is, they grow a few feet above the water. So if the water is really deep, you have really long bulrushes, which you can get, like placemats. Those circular placemats that are white-ish. Some sort of look at this, I moved all the way up to here. I'm on the pocket. So I had her write a chapter on this and a chapter on that. And every time I'd see something new, like she was writing a chapter on cattails for me. And then she started talking about cattails. And I different things about cattails. And so I decided I wanted to know more about whatever. Oh, she was talking about the roots of cattails, and I thought they were just tubers. I didn't know they were tiny hair coming off the tubers. Never knew that. So I wanted an outline of a chapter on the roots of cattails. And the next thing I know, I'm getting the stems. I wanted an outline of a chapter on the stems of cattails. And then I had to go and look at Google to find pictures. I don't like ChatGPT finding my pictures because ChatGPT is using a lot of electricity and water. You wouldn't think that some silly program on your computer would use that, but let me tell you this little secret. The the cloud is not a cloud. It's a data center. And people think, oh, a data center, they're going to build a data center in my town. Isn't this wonderful? Well, the data center is a whole bunch of computers, and they all need to be kept cool. And so they have to have lots of cooling fans, which take lots of electricity. So your electricity may go way high, or they may have made a deal with the town that they will get a good deal on electricity. So you personally may get a good deal, but in the surrounding area, it's going to cost them. They're going to pay more for their electricity, which is not good. People are going to electric. Anyway, and then it takes water also. I forget why they need water. To do with cooling, but don't the fans? Anyway, so they take an inordinate amount of water, which impacts your water supply and lowers your water table. You should look it up. This is what data centers are doing. And so I asked ChatGPT how much it costs for me to ask her one question, and she's very detailed. She gets into all the gigawatts and the blah, blah, blah. And suffice it to say, it takes a bit. It takes, I'm not sure if it's more than a light bulb, and I'm not sure for how long the light bulb. I should ask her to compare the length of time or the power a 100-watt light bulb takes to the power used when I ask a question. Anyway, and so generating pictures is even bigger, huge amount. So if I have to have a picture, I'll go to Google. But Google is also using AI now. But I can look for images. I'll do a search for images. And so then I would look up, what water fleas look like, or what these other ones, Cyclops copepods. Isn't it cool? I've learned 2 things and a little bit about both of them. But I forget what I learned about copepods. I'll have to go back and review that. Learned it all again. Look at this. I am making wonderful progress here. There's entire swaths with none of those things on them anymore. I have a fluffy, it's not wool, but it's one of those soft, fuzzy sweaters like wool. And these seeds get folded in. And so now they're dug right in between this. It's really hard to get these off. I tried washing it. I thought, well, wouldn't washing it soften them? Hey, look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh, it's almost all done. I found one. Found 2. There's a little hucklebuckle beanstalk happening here now. I really like talking to you guys. I know that you come and go. Some things are of interest to people and some are not. I've learned that if you make a very, very, very short, it gets lots of hits because people didn't know it ended. They keep it on for a while. Like, big deal. Who cares? Wasting someone's time. Okay, so look at that. I did it. Wow. Now I can use it again. Oh, is there something here? Oh, I found one. They're all going in my jar. Look at that. I have a little pile. Those will all grow in entire plant. And then there's this kind. Have you seen this kind before? Oh, I know, I dropped it. I dropped it. Okay. Wow, that's cool, I fixed it. See, this is the value of making a video. Okay, now we have this one, which is very soft and cozy. But there's so much that it holds on to. See? 3 tries to get it off. 4 tries. 5 tries. That's not good. Well, the back is okay over here. Good, good, good. And the front on this side is pretty okay. Okay, and now here we have this area. I think if I pull it, that works well. Make sure they go into my bottle. See, they end up. This is a lot of work to get them off of this. I thought if I wash it, it makes them all soft, and maybe it would make the little spines soft and they would let go. But it didn't really work. I didn't wash this shirt yet. I find, do you make a mess when you eat? I find that most of the dirt on my clothes comes from having spilled food on them. So I now wear an apron bib whenever I eat, or I take a piece of a dish towel and I lay it against myself right up to my neck. And I have had great success. Those things get dirty, but my clothes do not. And so if I haven't been sweating, I've only worn my clothes a little bit, then I don't have to wash them. Hey, these are coming off, not too badly. I'm learning my lesson, but it's slow. You know, I still go down there wearing clothes and socks. I even got them all along the top of the edge of my socks, which are very fluffy. Not socks, my shoes. My shoes have a fur that's on the outside. It's the edge of the inside fur. And that got them all over it. Felt crusty, like it had been melted. It's too bad that our clothes have so much plastic in them. When you wash your clothes, then those microplastics get off in the laundry. And those microplastics, you know, who cares? Well, they're in our brain. They're in every organ in our body. I don't know how they get into the brain. I guess they're so tiny they get into the blood system. And wherever the blood system goes in your body, which is everywhere, the microplastics go. I hope that doesn't mean we're going to get a whole lot of new cancers. Cancer doesn't seem to be very nice to have. Especially if you try and get rid of it, that seems to be worse than the problem. This, what's it called? Chemotherapy. I thought chemotherapy, I used to think that you got in some kind of a machine and it put x-ray stuff all through you, killed all your cells. But now I know that it's a pill. Imagine a pill. Or liquid. You can hear all this ice melting, can't you? We were supposed to get less than a centimeter of, centimeter is half an inch. We're supposed to get less than a centimeter of snow. But instead, we got about 3 inches of snow, which would be about 6 centimeters. But I only think in metric some of the time. Like cold weather, I never knew cold weather when I grew up in Georgia. So all the hot numbers I know in Fahrenheit, 100 degrees, right? Of course, now after 50 years here, I have learned a lot of temperature-related numbers. So how's everybody doing? And where are you from? Where are you watching from? Sometimes and analytics say that most of my viewers are older. They're not usually kids. And they are usually from the United States. The United States must have a lot of people that use social media. Or maybe because it's the English language, it's more findable by people who are speaking English. I've been attending the temple in Montreal again. Willem has a bum leg, and he's not able to be in the car for 4 hours each way anymore for a while. Which doesn't make sense because he thinks he's allowed to sit at his desk. If he's able to sit at his desk for many hours, then what's the difference in sitting in a car? In a car, he can sit in the back seat and have his leg up on the folded down front seat. I don't know. But he's still taking pills for pain. I think he should not be taking pills for pain. He should be staying horizontal as much as possible. But he doesn't seem to be interested in doing that. He likes his computer. Does millions of things at his computer. It's his whole life, his whole world. He uses it to compose music, to solve puzzles, to play chess, and to learn chess strategies. Can you imagine he's still learning chess strategies at 76? When he was a little kid, the neighborhood would tell him, neighbors would say, you think you can play chess? You should play against that kid. That was my Willem. Whenever he gets a hold of a newspaper, he would always find the bridge and cover up parts of it, and he would play, see if he could figure it out. There's a lot of these on here, but they're coming off a little better. I find if I hold the fabric right beside them, right beside the little seed, I can pull it off without it pulling the fabric too much. But they've still got a lot of fibers attached to them. See? Gotta be careful they don't come back on your fingers and then get back on the fabric when you go back to it. Even the little sticks stick to it. These are, I don't know what they're called. Can you look that up for me? Did anybody say anything? Oh, CJ, knowledgeable lover of nature. Yes, you taught me how to flatten birch bark in the oven. Oh, yeah. I've since learned that maybe using the oven isn't the best way because I mean, to me, it's always been good, but, you know, if I put it on the wood stove and it gets heated too much, then it bubbles, and that's not what you want. I mean, it might be what you want. If you want that, that's the way to do it. I've been liking and following these people making grass huts. There's a tribe, H-A-Z, and I forget the rest of it. It's a 4 or 6 letter word or something. But it's a tribe in Africa, and they make grass huts. They're a nomadic people, But they make their grass huts like in an hour, well, maybe in the afternoon. They take saplings and they bend them over, and they weave the all the many branches, they weave them together. They just stick them in and out, you know, they don't do anything fancy at all. And then there's some kind of a tall cactus that might be that kind that we have in the house sometimes, those very tall, skinny things like I don't know if it's called a snake plant or anyway, it's like a spike. Anyway, but they have these, they kind of look like, I asked Chad about it. They kind of look like a flat cactus that sort of spreads out like that. But she said it was not a cactus and that it was that other thing, that household plant that you have. They look kind of succulent. Anyway, so they take them and they stick them in the ground all the way around. They start with a circle, but it's not a closed circle. It's kind of like a little bit, it's got a little overlap at the end. So they have a little entranceway, so the wind and weather can't come straight in. So they do this with the branches, and then they put bark on. Look at this, it pulled my seam open. I pulled my seam open. Take credit where credit is due. Anyway, so they were talking in this video, and I was interested in their language. It's not Swahili, although many of them know Swahili, so they can communicate with the rest of the world. There's 1,200 people that speak this language, and it's a very, very simple language. It's got 1,000 to 2,000 words. I don't know how there can be 1,000 to 2,000. That's quite a difference, but that's what Chat said. And she knows. So there's talking in this video, and I wanted to learn the language so I can know what they're saying. So I've been learning it a little bit. Had, H-A-D, had, Zad, or I think there's a Z in it, a Z. Canada, we call it a Z. Z could be mistaken for E, or I don't know, maybe nothing. This bottle must be getting kind of full. Look at them all. Look at how they're all suspended together now. I got so much stuff on them. But I sometimes am able to pull a few at the same time. I see them. So I guess it's American Thanksgiving this week. You all going places? We already did that in October. So we're done. Now we have snow to deal with. I want to go for a walk around the moat. The other day I went for a walk and I made some videos of it, and I saw the beaver. Twice I heard him splash into the water. He never slapped. The best time to see the beaver is early morning or late in the evening, And winter is a wonderful time because they're very busy taking down all the trees and submerging them in the water. And they usually submerge them very close to the outlet of their house, so you can find out where they live. They have a sort of a circuit. They go every few years, they go back to the same place and get the trees that have now grown back up. Willow and such. Alders. Patty was with me and we cut out a little area in the alders and made a perfect little sitting area. It was so cozy. It was going to be such a nice spot from which to explore but no, the beavers came and took down all the trees. So now it's not a cozy spot. Silly beavers. But anyway, so if I go down there in the early morning, which now is only about, what time does the sun rise? 8, 7? Anyway, if I go down there at that time of day for a walk, I would see them. Or if I go down when it's almost dark, which is now 5 o'clock, or something like that. If I go down there, then I can see them. And so I was there the other day, and I guess it was a beautiful day. It was afternoon. But then it didn't take long until it wasn't afternoon anymore. It has a way of doing that, doesn't it? Oh, here's some on this side. I'm getting there. I'm doing it. I'm getting them all taken off. I'm putting them in a place where they won't grow. And then from here, they're going to go into the wood stove. I'm not going to put them in the garbage because then they'll just be in the garbage at the dump. We'll probably get them on our clothes again. Because they will grow somewhere. All right, that's pretty good. One sleeve. A few still here. Thank you for coming along. I didn't know what I was going to do today, so I ended up going through my clothes. And I have been blessed with some really good deals with clothes lately. Usually you can't ever find a dress. Not a dress in the world. Well, I found all these really nice long sleeve, long dresses that were very plain, which I could then use as underdresses. And so now I can wear short sleeve or sleeveless dresses in the winter over these underdresses. And so I have now got a beautiful supply of dresses. Instead of the blouses and skirts, I always had to wear blouses and skirts because there were no dresses for sale. And then when I was in Hawaii a few years ago, I found all these wonderful dresses in a store which later burned to the ground with that fire in Maui. But I had bought all these dresses, which is very lovely. So I still can wear them. Some of these have remnants of the bits on them. We had our wood delivered kind of late this year because our usual wood deliverer had a heart attack, and I didn't want to buy it from somebody else in case he was going to do it. But he didn't. Isn't that nice, the sound of the dripping water? In the spring, we have a waterfall right beside our house, which is the runoff from all these hills. Look at this, a beautiful sky. I'm a little bit chilly, actually, but not where I have this sweater sitting on me. On my arms, where I only have one layer. So my plan is to go for a walk down there. And I haven't been doing that in the winter because I don't want to slip on the ice. So what I'm now doing, I'm going to drive my car down to the entrance of my watery area, Fiddlehead Lane, Kingfisher Lane. and I will then walk in from there. Perfect idea. I got snow tires the other day. Oh, what a relief. But even they, if you stopped, you know, you always need to test the roads. Once you get on the road, you should not go very fast, but then slam on the brakes and see what happens so that you know if it's slippery or not. So you're not going very fast so that you aren't going to lose control. You'll still be in your own lane. But it was still a bit slippery. Even it made me fishtail just a little bit. I have found that when, you know how your car will pull you forward, if it's in drive and you don't have your pedal on the gas, generally cars will advance a little bit. They'll try to move forward. So if you want to stop and you have a problem that you got to stop in a hurry and the roads might be a bit icy, you don't want that car pushing forward. So if you put it into neutral, somebody thought that was a stupid idea, but it's a wonderful idea. It works really well. Put it in neutral when you're coming right up to a stop sign, and the car will stop because you don't have anything pushing it ahead. I don't know how, you know, I wouldn't necessarily do that on a steep hill maybe, but maybe it would work. I don't know. I have to try these things. You know, you have to try it when you're not in a dangerous position. But putting it into neutral definitely makes the car stop pushing ahead. So if you're, what is that called? The speed that your engine is going at? You know how they have to turn it down or turn it up sometimes by adjusting the air-gas mixture? I forget. Gone with all those other words. Boy, it's like the spoons and the socks, right? Where could they be? I lost some knee socks lately. Now, knee socks are too big to go, and my washing machine, things can't get over the edge. So I don't know where they went. Must be somewhere. I have 2 sets of knee socks on 2 different doors. I use safety pins to hold them together, and so they hang over the hooks on that little rack I have at the top of the door. And there's one door has all the socks that are perfect and have no holes. And the other door has socks that need mending. Now, the mate could be perfect, but they're safety pinned together at the top, so that I have them all where I want them, and I know when I'm missing one. I have to look for it. Where could it be? Where could it be? Swallowed up in the great Mississippi. Look at this. Oh, 1 left here, 2 left. I'm almost done getting all these seats off my shirt. My sweater. Oh, here's one. Oh, that's just a bit of greenery. Oh, here's one down here. There's little tiny remnants, which are very well embedded into the fluff. So I must remember, I should probably take a bag along and gather up all these things so that they don't get on my clothes. Then I can freely go there without the risk of spreading them far and wide. They're not clingers, are they? Clingers, there's a few different things. There's one that has 2 ends to it, and it's sort of shaped like that, and 2 parts point out. That's one kind. This is a little round, a little seed like that, which is full of little bumps all over it. I'll have to check and find out what they are called. Okay, I think I've done it. So now I have to go inside and warm up, recover from this great opportunity to visit with you. So good to get this done. Okay, so I have freed my shirt, my sweater, and a sock. And I have a lot to show for it. That would have made a lot of plants, which would have made patches. So at some point I'm going to go for a walk. I think I'm going to go inside and play Minecraft and warm up. Minecraft! I like Minecraft. Have you ever played Minecraft? If you ever want to know how, I have been showing it on my videos for a while. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Like and subscribe and all that. Bye. And comment.